Okay, let's talk about the Patriots. They could cut ties anytime they want. Their statement was basically, we saw what happened. We're gathering more information. We'll have no comment. Based on his contract as a 4th-round pick in 2022, minimal financial penalties for Robert Kraft. The thing is, Jack Jones is pretty good. I argued he was the best player on the field for 2 days at minicamp. It's 2 days in June, non-padded practice, say what you will. But this is a guy that they were counting on, for better or for worse, to be around and help improve that cornerback group that really got abused against the best receivers in the game and the best quarterbacks in the game down the stretch of last season. So if he's not there, your cornerback depth is hurt.
CLNS Media's Patriots coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
There are some free agent options. I think for the Patriots, as well as the NFL, which history would indicate they're going to bide their time on this and hide behind similar statements of our investigation is ongoing, we're not going to comment, let this play out. The NFL, we know, doesn't tether itself to the criminal justice system, either the outcomes or the processes, but they're interested much more in PR. They'll go on their own timeline. And if there's no reason to cut Jack Jones, or maybe they put him on the commissioner's exempt list if you're the league, they'll do so. I think the Patriots in the league will probably be in lockstep about this. What it means for when training camp starts, I would highly doubt that Jack Jones is there, probably put off to the side. What happens after that will depend a whole lot again on if there's a deal reached, how soon a deal is reached. And if not, this could be a process that takes a year or two. Do they keep him out of football then? Is it just one season? Is it 6 games? I don't know. There is a history, of course, of gun-related charges for NFL players. Frank Clark had a couple of charges. He served 2 games. Other players have served different amounts or not at all. Police are also going to have to prove that the gun can fire, and then they'll get a certificate of that to show that this is an actual firearm. Otherwise, these charges are moot. Anyway, more details that they're actually going to gather information. I just wouldn't count on anything happening from the Patriots to the league on this anytime soon. Last thing, I mentioned his prior record. In the high-profile nature of this case, you could go back and forth. I'll say that, some believe the DA's office is going to have to dig in their heels there. They're in the spotlight, just as Jack Jones is, because he's a celebrity. We have a gun violence problem in this country. And so to let him off easy, or the appearance of letting him off easy, is something they probably don't want to do. Do they go harsher or not is up for debate, but those were things mentioned to me. I pass them on to you. Okay, last thing. His prior record. You probably know by now, because this was the first thing that came out when Jack Jones was drafted out of Arizona State last year, is that in 2018, when he started his career at USC, that ended with him being kicked out of school for academic issues, dismissed. And 3 weeks later, he attempted to rob a Panda Express, for which he faced 2 felony charges of conspiracy to commit a crime and commercial burglary. After months of negotiation, they reached a plea deal, and those charges, felony charges, were knocked down to misdemeanors. And so he served 45-day house arrest as a part of that deal. And that's not going to have a huge sway on here, but this can't be a case of, I just didn't know any better. First time offense. He forgot they were in that bag. That's it. Let him off easy. This is a guy who has a history. And the stuff with the league is not going to play into the legal process that he was suspended at the end of last year, suspended at Arizona State, issues at USC. But from a legal standpoint, the fact that he has a record and is relatively fresh, you can't get away with the, I'm 25, I don't know any better. This guy who travels a whole lot. And the defense might try to use that to their advantage by saying, this guy knows he couldn't be this stupid. They were planted. We're not going to go there yet. The point is, though, the record is going to be a factor that will be weighed, how heavily by any sort of judge or the DA's office when they're choosing how to pursue this. It's going to be part of the discussion when they have this. So we covered the Patriots. As I mentioned, they can cut ties anytime. It's in their best interest, I think, to wait, at least in the short term. And they don't have many good options. We talked about offensive tackles last episode as a position that teams just don't give them away. You can't find them out in the open market, starting caliber offensive tackles. Similar with corners, okay? There are some on the streets. I don't think they fit what the Patriots look for or want, but they'll probably need some for depth because they're small out there. I think Jonathan Jones is solid. I think Christian Gonzalez could be special, but I don't think you could make on that position group being a strength of the team the way that you think you could have coming out of minicamp and OTAs when Jack Jones looked primed to take a year or 2 lead. And now he might be sitting on the bench or completely outside of the stadium in the locker room for quite some time.
CLNS Media's Patriots coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.